Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of Inter Worldwide Podcast. This is the episode number 80, and we are with your usual guest, Mohammed. Hi, hi, Mo. How are you? No,
A few minutes ago it was fine, so I presume this is still fine, Ale.
right. You are mute. I don't know if that's a problem.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Sorry, guys. I was muted.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Hi, Mo.
I, I,
Uh,
I told you that it was fine.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can tell, we have Giulio Cenzo. Once
Hi
again,
everyone.
hi Giulio.
It's me, Giulio. Hi everyone.
All right. So as you can tell, we're pretty happy. We come from an incredible streak of good results, victories, and let's talk about the last one against Cagliari. It wasn't as spectacular as one can think, but we got the 3 points. We did our job, and I think Cagliari did his job as well. I mean, they are trying to not being relegated, and so it was pretty obvious they will fight. Mo, what do you think about that game?
I think it's a 3 points one against a very tough opponent. They look on the table. They look down and finished, but in during this game they showed quite resilience, and it was actually a good game to see Inter and how they adapt to teams like this. Playing Sassuolo before was a team that attacks and have the ball, and still we won only 1-0. And then now Cagliari, who sat back against us, and we still win 1-0. It shows you both sides of Inter, which is great to see a different Inter every game because it's entertainment and it gives you confidence that the team can adapt to different styles of play.
And that's an important thing because in the media discussions, it seems that Inter can play just in one way and just in a defensive way, but it's not like that. And for the Cagliari match, I add that the fact that Cagliari played his best games against big teams because the best games were against Juventus and against Inter. In the other games they played, they were not so good. But instead they know what to do and they do it in the right way. Maybe they could get something like a 0-0, not more than that, but 1 point it should be huge for their situation.
I want to
And I
correct
know this. Oh, sure.
the Inter game against Solo 2-1. The whole game we scored in the beginning and then we were just in the back trying to defend our lead and then we had 30% of the position, which is unusual for a Conti team.
Right. So I know this is an Inter podcast, not a Cagliari podcast, but I just want to spend 2 words about Cagliari. Do you think it's gonna be able to stay in Serie A or it's too late now? No,
Julio, go ahead. What do you think?
Julio.
In my opinion, they it's a little bit late for that because it's I know that it's stupid to tell something like that, but if Cagliari needs that someone gets their place, and they are 5 points back from Torino, and so they need not only they need to win, but Torino need to lose. And it's every game that passes, it's more difficult that. And Cagliari has the problem that they have they didn't have a specific strong point to win the games. They are not able to defend and they are not so efficient in attack. So it's hard to think that they should stay in Serie A.
I just want to say that the couple of games coming, they are against Parma and against Udinese. And for Cagliari, they are both winnable games. On paper, they can win both. If they win both, they have a chance. Because after this, they play Roma, Napoli, Benevento away, Fiorentina, Milan, and I don't think they're going to get any points from these games. So the next two games are actually what they're going to show us exactly if Cagliari are meant to fight or they're just finished and they just surrender to go down.
Right. You said on paper. So if you look Cagliari on paper, like all the players they have, they shouldn't be in that situation at all. And if they get relegated, what's gonna happen to those players? I'm wondering because, I
Uh,
mean, that's a tricky situation. I mean, they
it's
can't all leave. I mean,
No, it's a very difficult situation because they are Cagliari is a team that is not they didn't expect that kind of situation. So it's a big problem about that because as you said they have a lot of big names, so names from that belongs to Serie A. Nearly everyone in the roster. So it's difficult to tell who will stay if they get relegated and nearly everyone will get away. For sure, Nainggolan will get back to Inter. So the others we can talk about that, but Nainggolan for sure will get back.
it's just I don't know. It's crazy to think that Godin went from
Yeah,
Champions League final to a relegation in Serie A. It's just drives me
yeah.
nuts. Something like that.
See,
Anyway,
also Nathan Nandez that played
right,
Libertadores
right,
final like 2 years ago.
exactly. Numbers that I wouldn't mind to have in Nerazzurro, but you know, as many other, not many, but few players in Cagliari, I would see with our team with no problem at all. Mo, do you want to add anything about Cagliari?
No, actually, it's just Cagliari. I only feel bad, to be honest, for one player that I think is performing way, way above the rest of the team is Cranio. And if they go down, Cranio is going to go to a big team, and it's good for him. That's all. Everybody else, even if you watch them, yes, Nandes, João Pedro, Simoni, Godin, Rogani, they're not performing. Because if three of them are performing well, Cagliari would not have been there. Because Fiorentina has the same problem, but Fiorentina, some of the players, sometimes they step up, and this is why they're not in the relegation zone.
But also
Right,
Torino, for example. Torino also has the
exactly.
names that belongs to Serie A, but they have some points more than Cagliari. And Cagliari is in a very strange situation, way more than Parma, because also Parma has Serie A names, but they had a lot of injuries, some problems with Liverani and so on. But Cagliari is really a strange situation.
Yes.
Right. The other player I wouldn't mind to keep an eye on. I'm not saying to buy it, but you know, and he performed very well against us. Was the young defender Carbone? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yes, Carboni.
Uh, Carbone. He just renewed with Cagliari, but he's like 21, 22. Um, yeah, he kept in check Lukaku very well, in my opinion. I wasn't expecting anything like that.
There is a lot of
Anyway,
players. A lot of players.
yeah,
Joao Pedro, Pavoletti. There are a lot of players that can leave Cagliari, but
right.
let's see. Let's see what's gonna happen.
Anyway, moving on. In a completely different
Now we talk
area
about
of
Inter.
the
Now we talk about
right.
Inter.
Now
Okay.
we go back to Inter. And a totally different area of the Serie A standing, which is Napoli. Napoli is trying to get into the Champions League, and we are trying to keep our streak of victories going. What do you think is gonna happen? I go to Mo first.
So Napoli won their last 5 games and they haven't lost in 7 games. They are the second best form, I think, after Inter. Maybe Atalanta, but Atalanta lost a game like 5 weeks ago. Napoli are without Lozano, but they recovered Zelensky, which is a massive difference. In the predicted lineup has Zelensky in it, so they have Demi, Zelensky. So they have everybody. Koulibaly, Manolas, everyone is available other than Lozano, which is based on what we see. Politano can do the job. Osimhen is back 100%. It's going to be tough for Inter because the way Napoli play, they are not a defensive nor offensive team. Napoli is very balanced team. Is one of the most balanced team in the league. They can defend and they can also play pressing game all game. And this is something that Conte and every coach that faces Napoli will not know what to do and which game Gattuso will play. The Inter can prepare for a defensive game, and then Napoli comes in and leave the ball to Inter. Like Inter normally have the ball. So this is gonna be a key, I think. In the most likely, the thing is gonna be Koulibaly and Lukaku. If Lukaku gets the better of Koulibaly, it's gonna be an Inter game because now I think we're struggling in the last 3 weeks because Lukaku is marked really well, and if he's marked that this game, it will be tough. Also in the midfield, we have a new option coming in, which is Sensi, and that adds more depth to the offensive style of Inter and playing the balls between the lines, the passing. Even though I think that the starting lineup will have the normal, the regulars, Brozovic, Eriksson, and Barella, and it's great to have Barella back. And I think our midfield is stronger than Napoli's midfield, but their midfield is very, very technical on the ball, all of them. So it's a battle everywhere. I can't predict it because both teams are coming from a great, great run. And I think Napoli has more points to prove, and Napoli is playing for something more than Inter, which is the top four, because Inter they have the cushion, the 11 points on Milan, which is 12 points because of the head-to-head. So I think Napoli will come hungrier to the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Napoli,
Right.
sorry, Napoli lost recently against Juventus. So,
Yes.
right, Mo?
Napoli
See,
lost.
in the old game, they
Aha,
played.
that's the game. That's the
Yes,
game
yes,
that was postponed. Yes, yes,
exactly, exactly.
yes,
Right.
yeah, yes, yes.
No, because it's everything that told was is true, and but I added the point that Napoli is a well balanced team, that they have a great offensive roster. They have many players that can add something in every moment of the game, and so you have to pay attention from the regulars and from the bench members, and it's not so easy to defend. If you remember the Inter Napoli, we got some problems in the last minute, especially when they changed their style. And about the first game, Gattuso played a different formation from every other game he played, with a strange 3-4-3 formation, especially to stop Lukaku. And so there is as you told, it's very important the game of Lukaku, because if he can make the difference, it's something that can unbalance all the game. And apart of that, it's important the table, because Napoli is in a very short situation with the Juventus, Atalanta, and also Milan. So to make points for them is crucial. It will be not so easy to get points from Napoli, and Inter has some problems playing in Napoli from the last 20 years. So we need a great game. The only thing is that Napoli has some ups and downs in their ability to play. Sometimes they get some blackouts from game to game, but also in the same game. So Inter need to get some strong focus on the game, and to play a game that we need to maintain our focus and be cynical in front of the goalkeeper.
Do you guys think this is the most difficult game for us in this moment against Napoli? Or do you see any other team that can give us problem more than Napoli?
But with Inter, it's difficult to tell, because we can get some problems nearly against everyone. It just depends by what we think about ourselves. Napoli is one of the big games that we need we need to get by in the next games. So it's difficult, because now Napoli Inter it's an important game for the moment it gets. So after that you have Spezia, Hellas Verona, and Crotone, and before that you get Cagliari, Bologna, and Sassuolo. So it's between the two parts of the calendar that we can get points in a relatively easiest way. So Napoli Inter is something that can make a huge difference, but for our competitors, because if Napoli gets 3 points there, then what do you think about where you can get some points from Inter?
Well, what do you think is gonna be the key of this game? I'm thinking Osimhen coming back. I think when we play Inter Napoli, Osimhen wasn't playing, and for what I've seen of Napoli this year, they play completely different kind of football with Osimhen on the pitch.
Yes, I saw that sometimes they play a long ball to Osimhen trying to use his speed, but the strongest defense, not by numbers, but by consistency and playing regularly, is Inter in the league. Yes, Juventus by numbers, I think now they are the same goals against, but Inter they have many very consistent in playing. So I don't worry about the defense of Inter because the way that Conti set up the team is pretty well, can handle anyone. I think now anyone in Serie A. Osimhen might give us problems if we open the field and have the ball most of the time and we lose it. But we don't lose the ball that often. In my opinion, the key will be controlling Zelensky, who plays behind the midfield, trying to come close to the forward. This player is getting better and better. I know that he had a dip in form when he had COVID, but now he's recovered and he is really playing well for Napoli. On the flanks, I think we can handle the flanks. But I think it's Zelensky against Brozovic is very important for the control of the match because Zelensky always perform well against Inter.
I wanted to say to tell the same thing. Apart for Koulibaly, Lukaku, Zielinski is an important factor because playing behind the principal striker of Napoli will get the role to disturb Brozovic and or Eriksen, and is the more physical player from between Politano and Insigne. So the prestige, the game of Zielinski will be a huge part of this game. Apart of that, Fabian Ruiz often plays well against Inter and is a technical player that is able to get the vertical plays that can get some problems with our defense.
Okay.
Can I ask
Ed,
something? Can I ask you
sure.
guys something? Who's the player you fear most in Napoli?
Hmm. Um, probably Zielinski, as you were saying, because it's the only one that can create something from nothing. While both Politano and Insigne on the other side, you pretty much know what they can give, but Zielinski can change the game.
There is going to be a huge pressure on Skriniar on the right side because when
Sì.
Hakimi goes up, Insigne is going to be one-on-one against Skriniar, and Insigne is, as we all know, is one of the most technical players in Serie A. This is going to be
and he's living his best season ever probably.
yes. So this is going to be because I don't think Skriniar faced any player that is as good as Insigne this season with Hakimi on the pitch. Like this is going to be a big factor. But the thing is, I trust Skriniar. He's one of the best defenders now, and but Insigne is very technical, and as Giulio said, he's living now his best season. He's playing the best football. This is why he's definitely gonna start for the Azzurri. Everybody knows that. I think Insigne, we can control Insigne by Skriniar, but we have to watch behind Hakimi because Mario Rui go and support Insigne all the time on the counter attack.
Do you guys think maybe Conte can keep Hakimi on the bench and play Darmian just to have a more defensive support?
No,
Yes,
honestly
no?
not. I don't think so because Conte gives some. In other difficult games, he always played with Hakimi. In the first months, he was not so confident in Hakimi defensive skills, but now he has no problem about that, and Hakimi should be very important against Mario Rui on the offensive side.
Yes, on the counter is Hakimi is your actually is the second most important player after Lukaku on the counter attack. And then if Gattuso say I'm gonna attack Inter and have the ball all the time, we know that Conte is gonna sit back and wait for the counter attack for Lukaku and Hakimi is the support. So, because if you remove Hakimi, the counter attack is only Lukaku, and this is going to be hard for
Yes.
Lukaku against Manolas and Koulibaly. You have to have Hakimi.
All right. I was just asking. I completely agree with you.
No, also
We
because
both like went on you.
also because
I know.
In Inter Napoli, Darmian played, and it was also very important because he get the penalty that decided the match. But we get a very few occasions in front of the goalkeeper, and it was in grand part because of his absence. So Hakimi will be a huge part of this game. Also with the return of Barella, that we hope that he has some freshness.
Right. Last question.
How about the
Oh,
left
you're
side
good.
before we move on? Because this is the most important now. That the only player that is in question now is Ashley Young, because the predicted lineup, Ashley Young is in the lineup, and as of now, and both Perisic and Darmian are available. Do you guys? I know that the predicted lineup has Young. Would you prefer Young, Darmian, or Perisic to play on the left side?
Perisic didn't play in the last games, and we know that. But I think that he is able to play. Will be the Conte's choice. He has the physical strength and the technical skills to get some difficulties in the Napoli side against his eye, and also to defend on Politano. So I think that Conte's choice is Perisic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, and the other thing is that this is not a problem at all. I mean, whoever plays, you know that you can turn around, look at the bench, and bring on somebody else. Like if you play Perisic and something's going wrong, you can switch with Darmian or Young. So that's amazing. Something that we didn't have last year, and probably that's one of the reasons why this year we have such a advantage from our competitors. Um, Last question about this game. Um, Before I ask you the result, but do you think we're gonna see a game similar to the first leg, the Inter Napoli? We're gonna see something similar, or you expect something completely different? Mo?
This is gonna be, to be honest with you, it's a new Inter for me. Like it's a
Right.
very new Inter. I don't know what Conte is gonna do, but I only can say that I trust him, and I also see that Gattuso's Napoli is way more stable than the beginning of in the first half of the season, when he was under the heat and everybody was like talking about him leaving the club. So I don't think we're gonna see the same game in terms of who attacks and who defends. And I think the players now are very different tactically. Both teams now are. Politano is now way more established than the beginning of the season for Napoli. Insigne is playing better, and also Inter. Everybody's playing. Lautaro now is way more confident than the beginning of the season, and Eriksen is playing. Eriksen now is more confident. So I don't think we're gonna see the same game, but we might see a close result as the first game. We might see a very close result. I don't know who's gonna win, but it might be very close.
I also don't expect the same game in the first leg, but because Gattuso showed a tactical game, a particular tactical game in that situation, and I don't think that he will do that again. And then we have a different Inter with a different mental set, so it will be a different game. But between Inter and Napoli in these 2 years, we get many games that went in different ways. So it's not so easy to predict the match, but I expect something like attack against defense in the in the two part of the pitch. So Lukaku and Lautaro against Koulibaly and Manolas, and the Napoli strikers against Inter defense, and the individual duels will be very important, because you need to find quality solutions, and then to get to score the goals, and then you can play with defense, with more spaces, and try to get the game you want.
And what's your prediction for the game, Giulio?
It's not easy. I played the Inter victory 2-1.
Oh wow. Okay. Mo?
1-1.
1-1. All right.
Uh,
Okay. So this is an Inter podcast. We talk about Inter, of course, but let's move a step back, and there's another important game this weekend, and something that can uh, tell us more about if we have to when hopefully we can celebrate. And that's Atalanta-Juve. Um, Giulio, what do you think is going to happen in that game?
It's a difficult game. It's something like what we told about Napoli Inter, because the two teams are in good form, and they and they are forced to win. So I expect an open game, and Atalanta has a unique possibility to win against Juventus and get something important on the mental side, because then we have the Coppa Italia finals also. I expect the most important thing in Atalanta in this period, apart from Muriel Zapata, that we know what they can add to this team, is is Malinowski. Malinowski grew a lot in the last games, and it's an important test for him, because it's the first time that is an important player on this team in a big match. So it will be a test for him, and we will see what Gasperini will get from his player. From the Juventus side, Juventus has had a lot of problems in this season. We know about that. And this is a big match, and they have to prove something, because they had too much problems. But it's not easy, because Atalanta is a difficult team to manage, and we saw that in Inter Atalanta. So it will be a huge clash. I expect a physical game, and I'm curious to see what Atalanta can do.
Mo, what do you think?
for me, every time I get excited to watch Inter, but every time Atalanta play, I get excited. They play beautiful, amazing football. They go forward with purpose. They never struggle. Even when they are down or on the team come back like Fiorentina, they were calm, collective, and then they still win to win the game. The only thing I lately I've been seeing for Atalanta is that because of the Hatibur not available, the change of tactics to four in the back, not three, where Toloi plays as a fullback on the right side most of the time, and he plays with three midfielders plus three forwards, which is something that we were not used to from Gasperini at all, changing the way he plays. Sometimes he pushed Diron to the right side, but mainly it's four in the back, which is something that I don't think a lot of teams have uh, found a way against Atalanta, because Atalanta, when they played 3-5-2, it was simple and easy. It was very simple for them to put the plan against. But now Atalanta plays different. As for you, I think it's exciting to see different way of playing from Gasperini, who was very set on playing the three in the back all his career. But it's now good to see that he can do something else. Maybe he's looking for a bigger team to join next season if he can make Champions League again with Atalanta. Maybe someone else will want him. As for Juventus, in my opinion, they are very dependent on individual performances. If Chiesa plays well, Juventus play good. If Ronaldo gets at the end of two, three, four chances, they win. Otherwise, it's a very individual performances. I don't think there is a. I think the plan is on the paper only, but on the field, it's everybody trying to beat somebody, dribble one on one, do something brilliant for Juventus to win. And I think the Juventus front line is very strong for the defensive line of Atalanta. This is why it's very hard for Atalanta to defend against the likes of Chiesa, even Cuadrado on the right, Ronaldo. It's very hard for them. But I think, in my opinion, Atalanta has the upper hand in this game because they are coming from a better form than Juventus lately. They are winning, and they are very resilient. So I think Atalanta have the upper hand here. And if they win, it's going to be very hard for other teams to catch them. Even though they have Roma next, but I think it's very hard for other teams to catch them because they're gonna go into Roma very prepared to play and win.
Right. So the first leg ended up with a tie, 1-1. What do you think is gonna be the result this weekend, Mo?
I think Atalanta will win 3-2.
I wanted to tell exactly
Wow.
the same.
Sorry, Giulio. Every
Oh,
time, I'm
perfect.
sorry, Giulio. Okay, next time we'll ask you first. But that's okay. That's okay.
No, but I'm glad. I'm glad. No problem.
Okay, let's
All
see.
right.
Do you think Muriel is gonna? Do you think Muriel is gonna add to his goals, or do you think Zapata is gonna step it up again, like last game? Who's more? Who's more? Who can more fight? Because the Juventus lineup, the predicted lineup has Dele and Chiellini. Do you think who's better to match to play against these two? Is it Zapata or Muriel? Because they're very, very different players. Which is, I wish that Inter we have this amount of difference. One of them is very physical, the other one is very, very technical player, Muriel, right? Like it's amazing to watch these two on the field together. What do you think? Who's gonna cause more trouble for Juventus?
Yeah. It's hard to tell because it depends on the combination because Gasperini changed his front line and it depends on the situation who plays on the right side or on the left side. But because Chiellini on Zapata is a typical match, and Chiellini knows how to manage that kind of player. We saw that also on Lukaku. On the other side, Muriel, as you told, has the technical skills to create problems on nearly every defender. So if he gets the opportunity to go one-on-one against the Delict, it's an important thing for the match. But also against Chiellini, because Chiellini has some problems because of his age, and so the ability of Muriel of get the open plays should be important.
Yeah, I was double checking all the games for this weekend. It's gonna be a very interesting weekend. There are some good matchup. I'm just thinking Cagliari Parma for the relegation zone, and then we said already Napoli, Inter, and Atalanta Juventus. But pretty much all the games are pretty even. Sampdoria Verona, Sassuolo Fiorentina, Bologna Spezia. I mean, these are all good games that can give something, some good
I'm
answer.
really looking for Cagliari and Parma, to be honest.
Uh,
I'm really looking for this game. I want to see the fight, to be honest.
sì, no, it's a very important game to relegation, like we told before.
Yes, yes. It's. Can I add one more thing? I want to ask. I want to ask you too about Vlahovic. Do you guys think Vlahovic, as a 21 years old, is now suitable for a big team, or do you think he is still trying to develop, and it's better for him to go to a Sassuolo or
Uh,
I don't want to call Lazio a mid-table team. They are
uh,
Roma and Lazio. They're top teams, but they are not the Scudetto winning teams. You think he can be a Juventus or an Inter, or even can go to England and play? Do you think he's ready?
for me, he needs some play time because he maybe is for the talent he has, for the physical and technical talent, he has the ability to get to a big team. But if he get there, he needs to have minutes. He needs to have play time because he needs to develop his game to learn how to play. And he is not ready to get in a big team and play a few minutes, get some minutes on that game, and then go to the bench and play 2 games later. He needs to have play times for another year or something like that.
Yeah, for this reason of the big team, the only one I can see a good fit could be Milan because I don't know if Ibrahimovic could play every single game next year.
He
So
might get
in that
suspended this
case,
one.
right. But in that case, next year he could have some play time, enough play time to develop more. But otherwise, I think the quality, quality-wise, I think he's ready for a big team. But as Giulio was saying, it needs still time to improve and develop as Martinez is doing with us. Martinez is still very young, but he's playing every game and he's improving every game. But if you bring in Vlahovic next year at Inter, for example, is not gonna have that because with Lukaku and Martinez, even if you get a good rotation, you don't have the continuity that is necessary to develop. So it's a great talent, but you can't have everybody just because he's a great player.
I think he's gonna replace Dzeko in Roma.
Sì,
Right.
as a regular in the team, yes, it's possible. But he needs to get something like that to replace Dzeko, not to play together with him.
Absolutely, yes. Okay.
All right. I think this was a good preview of this coming weekend. I hope you guys enjoy it. I want to thank Smo for all these insights. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And a couple of slips. I'm fasting, so a couple of slips. Forgive me.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. And thank you, Giulio.
Thank you so much.
And I hope we can get 3 points, continue our streak of good results, and talk to you soon, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.